Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome to Ohayou Anime show where it's not morning here, but it is in Japan, so that's how we get away with it. My name is John, and I'm going to be joined by a flurry of usual suspects in a moment. I just want to introduce everything. Let everybody know we are currently on X, YouTube, and Twitch Live, so wherever you pick your poison, please feel free to join the chat. Do what I can to interact with chat should anything come up. But tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. So a couple weeks back was the finale of season 2. And I'm sure our guests are going to have some thoughts. For me, it was a highly anticipated series, and it's been a full season. So we're going to go through all of that. We'll have spoilerific detail. And but before that, we're going to talk some about maybe what we've been watching and other anime related things. So let's start getting our guests in here. Just going to go in order down here. JP, you're muted, but welcome. There you are.
New digs.
How's it going?
Oh, just living in my mom's basement. So this is the basement. We're chilling.
All right. Sounds good. Perfect. Phil, welcome, Phil.
Hey, guys.
You're in a different spot, too.
I am, yeah. Different spot. It's actually a spot I've been in before, but it's just like just set up a little differently. I got like a love sack now. It's like a perfect spot to sit and podcast.
So you know you made it.
You guys are both distant from your mics. I feel like there's a great distance.
I'll have to figure it out here, but
just hold it. Yeah,
a little bit closer. Is that better? Is that better?
That's better. The closer you get, the better it'll be. Yep.
Is that better?
That's much better.
Yeah, this is good.
Is this
good? How you like it? How you like it? Too close?
It might be a little too close there, but
fair enough.
All right.
Do I sound closer, John? Do I sound better?
Closer. Yep.
Okay.
All right, we got one more in here right now. Tony, welcome in. Are you the perfect distance to your microphone?
We shall see. I hope so.
He's using the Ring audio for his doorbell, for his audio.
Yes. Well, you guys all got to get arms, pull that mic.
Yeah.
Just pull my mic closer.
Once I'm not living in my mom's basement, I'll invest a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I could just hold it, like right here.
I mean, you probably could, but it's going to pick up everything you do, move a little bit.
What if I just don't move?
That's an option.
It's stock still the whole time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll figure something out.
Perfectly still.
Well, it's been a minute since we've seen you, JP. So, what have you managed to watch? Obviously, you're busy moving and stuff, but got any shows under your belt?
So I hammered through the rest of Jujutsu Kaisen. The last time I was on here, I was like, "Hey, I watched the first half of the season, and then I binged the other half of the season." So I'm jacked up right now. I caught a few more episodes of Spy Family. I'm still not all the way through that one, but I'm very much enjoying it every time I get a chance to watch an episode or two. And that's mainly it. I need to get now that I heard that there's more Zom 100. I need to get back on there, but
Zom 100,
right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. We got another guest. Let's get her in here. Andrea, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Someone with a proper distance microphone, pretty close here. We've been critiquing Phil and JP.
He's professional, so
Mm-hmm.
John's just angry that all of his friends are poor and can't buy really nice audio equipment.
Okay, an arm is like $10 or something.
Gauntlet thrown.
John was nice enough to send me a microphone, and then I packed it with all my office stuff. So of course.
Yeah, I like the new surroundings there. I like the new digs.
It's
how has moving
basement.
been?
It's awful.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's packed away except my desk, my monitors for work, and
sure.
I'm telling you, this place is cool. If you like all these, entire DVD collection, starting probably 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Those
God,
are
that
CDs
is
in the
so much
background.
porn.
Yeah, yeah, that's all it is. And like right on
Yeah.
this wall right here, there's a bunch. There's probably 300 unopened Hot Wheels cars.
Oh wow!
Oh,
My
I know you're just a
stepdad
collector.
collects all this stuff, and it's just sitting down here. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Cool.
that's your stuff, or
it's no, this is my stepdad's stuff. This is
your
all his.
stepdad's stuff? Gotcha.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
nice. All right, Phil. Well, what have you been watching? You
Whew, a lot actually.
I'm digging the lounge. BT
Thank you.
Dubs.
Yep. It's there. It's my Costco brand love sack. So yeah, I thought I'd just get a little comfy here.
Is that how you warm up, Dana? Check out
The
my
Costco.
Costco brand love
Right.
sack.
She's very impressed. Yeah. So man, I've been watching quite a bit. I did finish Zom 100. I thought this season ended well, so I'll be curious to see what you guys think. Those of you who watch
Okay.
it, I think most of you do.
Okay.
I'm pretty far into summertime rendering, although I haven't watched that a lot lately. But John, it's definitely really good, John. So we should, I know you bought it and you're planning to watch it someday.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
worth it for sure. It's really well done. I been watching a lot lately of Freerun Journey's End, which I had picked up because it's like one of the top current anime, like one of the top ranked on My Anime List, and just really popular on Crunchyroll. And it started out a little slow, but oh my gosh, I got to like episode 7, 8, 9, and it started getting amazing. So I recommend it to like everyone. Andrew, I think I was telling you about it last night at the Packer game, and I think my wife would like it. She watches some anime, but not obviously as much as I do. And it's got a little of everything. It's got like it's beautifully animated, and it's kind of like a hero's journey. But then there's also some romance thrown in, and some like flashback action, some current action, and it's excellent. It's excellent. I love it. I've been watching Delicious in Dungeon, which has been hilarious. I don't know if you're up on the episodes, John. I'll be curious what you think. But
yes. Who here has started Delicious in Dungeon?
Okay, well, if we're going by started.
Okay,
Well,
you started it. Well, I mean, did you finish the first episode, Andrea?
No.
Okay. Tony, you finished the first episode.
That was like the bare minimum, Andrea, to being started. You don't get to watch 5
He
minutes
said
and say
started. That's why I said, well, if we're saying started.
okay. Well,
Nobody said watched, finished.
there's only 2
completed.
current episodes, so you have time to catch up.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
And then I've been watching Solo Leveling, which is interesting. So Andrew, you know Solo. Did you read Solo Leveling on?
Yes.
You did. Okay. So it's like a South Korean. What's the term for it, Andrea? It's like a South
Manhwa?
Korean comic. Sorry, what, manhwa?
Manhwa.
Manhwa. So it's like a South Korean manhwa. But really, the only discernible difference I can tell from like traditional anime is that the names are more Korean than Japanese, like the character names. But other than that, it looks like anime to me. Maybe it's not technically anime, but it's really good. I'm only like 2 episodes in. I think there's only 2 episodes available on Crunchyroll,
Yeah.
but it's more violent than I kind of guessed it would be, but it's quite violent. It's like one of those shows where people die, from what I can tell. Like it's not, it happens like right from the beginning. So it's really good though, and I've heard it's excellent. And Andrew, you could probably speak more to it, but
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, just to like throw my 2 cents in, it follows like the storyline so far, but it's definitely like indicating that it's going to be a little bit quicker paced, which of course as a show would benefit it, because obviously you're not just like reading like one storyline at a time.
Sure. Right.
I'm really excited about it. I think they're doing a really good job.
Yeah, it's like well done. It's like really beautifully animated.
Yeah, Andrea and I read probably the first, I don't know what it would technically be, 4 volumes of that.
Oh,
and then discussed it on the regular podcast. I like, my complaints at the time were, kind of as Andrea mentioned, was pacing. And so,
Sure.
Andrew is interested to see if they kind of pick that up.
Yeah.
Because I'd heard such great things about the manhwa, and then people were highly, really looking forward to the anime adaptation. And I don't know, I really fell off, so I haven't been as excited, but I'm glad I'm getting good word from you guys on it.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of it. But I'm at a point now where almost all the shows I'm watching are like one episode per week, because Solo Leveling, Delicious in Dungeon, I'm almost caught up with Free Run to the current episodes, and that's not done. So I'm pretty much at a week by week with Free Run Journey's End as well. I feel like I'm missing one, but yeah, I got a lot rolling right now. So, but
cool.
The ones I like all of them, so it's nice. So
nice.
Yeah.
Before we move on here, let's get Mike in. How's it going, Mike?
Hey.
Mike.
How's it going?
Mike.
Good.
Mike, for like a hot second, I looked at you and thought you were like in scrubs and like a doctor's cap.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
He just
I needed that.
He just dipped out from surgery to like come on the podcast quick.
Priorities,
Right.
That's right.
That patient will be fine.
I'm sure.
Oh,
It's fine.
yeah. Oh,
The drugs are going for at least another hour.
they don't even know where they are.
Perfect. Okay, Tony, what have you been managing to watch?
Yeah, so I was trying to play catch up. And obviously with everything backlogged, I tend to jump around a lot. And the biggest downfall is that I can't binge. So like I will watch maybe 3 episodes at a time, and I have to watch something else, a couple episodes, and then something else. So it's like if I'm behind like 10 episodes, I'm like, oh, I'm about like a week and a half behind. So I've been watching Jujutsu Kaisen. I've been doing Overtake because I know Mike has been talking about that a lot. So we've been watching Overtake. Finishing up MF Ghost is another one. And then I started rewatching Silicon Valley. If any of you ever watched that, that is not an anime. That's just a hilarious satire of Silicon Valley on HBO Max. Old show, but really funny. I'm trying to think if there's anything else outside of that. Those that I've been watching. I think that's kind of it. I've been doing a lot of traveling, so like I haven't had a lot of time to watch a lot of stuff. So
there's no anime quota you have to meet.
No.
Whatever,
I did have to give you crap. Like I said, I'm like, stop giving me homework.
Nope. There's you get no credit for homework. It's just all voluntary. Andrea, what have you been watching?
I mean, I feel like everything I've been watching has been already mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Phil's just taking it all up over there.
Taking it all, you guys.
Phil's like, I will watch everything.
I'm just trying to shoulder the load so you guys can just hang out and relax. You don't need to work too hard on this pod.
I appreciate you taking my load.
Phil's got all the homework. Thank you for taking the lead on the group project. We're just gonna sign our names.
No problem. Enjoy.
Takes the whole load.
What's the rating for this podcast again?
Yeah, it's not really. It's
really big load.
NR. Mm-hmm.
NR.
Mike,
NC-17.
do you have a big load of anime you've been watching?
My load is like it's smaller, but it's potent.
Oh, okay.
Can we not?
No, I cannot. I'm sorry. No, I went through and I did start watching. Was that Blue Eye Samurai?
Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching it on a plane on my way to and then back from Seattle. So got some exposure to that. I mean, I do think the art is gorgeous, in it. It doesn't feel groundbreaking, but it does look really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's enjoyable enough.
How far are you in?
To 4 or 5 episodes.
Sure.
Okay.
Nothing
Yeah,
huge.
same as
A
me.
decent amount.
To have a good sense of the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
More
Mike, when you fly and you like watch that show on the plane, do you ever get self-conscious about like watching that? And like, are other people watching me watch this and be like, what the fuck is that guy watching?
Because of the violence or the nudity or all of the above?
I'm not sure.
All
Yeah,
of it.
why? Not really. No, I mean, people watch all sorts of weird shit on planes. No, I think I'm okay with it.
I think I could probably get away with it if I was watching it like probably on my phone or maybe on an iPad, but when it's like on the seat back in front of you where it's like right here. And
Right, like you're just like, ooh.
Yeah. No, I was doing it from the privacy of my phone.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I would think that like if I was watching, Goblin Slayer or whatever it is, that first episode, that I would probably be like, and we're putting this down and we're looking around.
Yeah.
No one saw that.
That's whenever somebody says like you just got to make it through the first one and then it gets better. That's the pinnacle of that show. It's just like you got to get through the first one because it turns off so many people right off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable. So I actually, the most recently is because there's been such kind of like a long hiatus for us in talking about this. I went through and started rewatching Jujutsu Kaisen again and got through that. I actually watched it with the English dub, and I like that. I actually do like it. Some of the things feel less confusing either because I've watched it again or just because, maybe there's like not proper translations, but things just seem to make more sense. It feels more coherent. And the voice acting is pretty good. A lot of voices sound very similar, but it's still pretty good. So that's what I've been doing.
Cool. Yeah, no, I really wanted to watch this in English initially. And I see they were pretty fast in putting this one out in English, so that's good. Okay, I think we've hit everyone here. We just said there.
He had something.
I got one last one that I just remembered. It's been so long I couldn't remember, but I said samurai, and I was like, oh wait, I watched the other one on Netflix. It's called Oni Mushu.
Mm-hmm. Is that good? You like it?
It's fantastic. It's pretty much about a guy that he leads a small band of samurai, and there's like undead zombies.
Oh.
And he has this thing that enhances him to become an Oni, which is like a Japanese, super sick, but it like takes a part of your soul the more you use it. So you only, but he's like an aging samurai that's like renowned. And they're just on a mission. And I'll tell you, after I watched that whole thing, and I was like, that's pretty sweet. It had really good animation, a lot of murder. If you just like watching people slicing up zombies, awesome.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, if it's zombies, it's not murder. They're already dead.
Yeah, it was ticking a lot of boxes for me, so I was pretty happy with that. So,
how many episodes?
It's short, 8. It's one of the Netflix ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like Blue Eye Samurai was only 8 or 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Short like that, but it felt longer and a little bit more kind of the computer generated animation, but still did a really good job.
I remember seeing it, but I didn't actually watch it. So that's good to know that it's really good. Can I add one thing in that I haven't seen but looks awesome and people should check out? They just dropped on Netflix that JP reminded me of with your show. It's Maboroshi. Here, can I do this? Is this loud?
Yeah.
I mean, it's loud. Let's see. Hold on. It's too...
Maboroshi.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks cool, but that was very abstract.
It's a movie. It's a Netflix original anime movie, but it's oh my gosh, the same production company that does Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, I'm blanking. It's embarrassing.
It's Mappa.
Yeah, it's Mappa. Sorry, though. Oh, embarrassing.
Okay.
Really? How do they have time to just hammer out a quick movie with all these?
Because no one goes home ever.
It's like, we're getting overworked.
It looks cool. At least check out the preview.
That might be why they feel overworked.
Yeah. Well,
Try me a river. It's like, how do they have time for any of this?
I don't know. But it looks awesome.
That's
This
the
is like the
core
real
problem.
It's like the real life start to Zom 100 right here.
Yeah, right. You know what I would like to see turned into an anime that isn't? Unless we're still, I'll let you
go for it.
Go on the box, John.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch, the movie from early 2000s.
Oh,
That would be
That is-
sick.
That's just real life
That was
anime.
one.
That's all that
It
is.
It was.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Really? So you guys loved Sucker Punch?
Absolutely.
Zack Snyder, right? We're thinking the
Yes.
same thing here.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
I wanted to
actually-
like that movie.
I remember liking it a lot.
Oh, come on. What's not
Okay.
to like? It's everything's happening in our minds. Like, oh, I'm in a mental asylum. I'm pretty much crazy. And this is how I see.
Yeah,
my
it was
little
just kind of
challenges.
disjointed. The pacing and stuff of it. I didn't
It was very
didn't
much.
like it as much as I thought. But I was drawn to it because it is like clearly heavily inspired by anime. So I thought,
Mhm.
oh, this will be awesome. But
Yeah.
I thought it was solid.
well, that's
actually-
a fair topic. Like, what other properties or things would you love to see? Would it be not necessarily a strict adaptation to anime, though it could be, but something, let's take that world and make something in that world this anime. I mean, we think of obviously
Johnny.
Cyberpunk or Animatrix, those are kind of things that
Lord
are
of the
done.
Rings.
That'd be cool. I'd say
There
the
is
John
something
Wick,
for you.
like a prequel series or
John
something of John Wick.
Yep.
Do that
That'd be
whole,
fun.
you could have a super easy, like dark mood and then bright, similar to Zom 100, bright colors for killing people, or just Baba Yaga. Like, imagine like the Boogeyman coming to life and then just how he would do that in an anime versus real
Mhm.
life. I think that would just make the whole thing just sick. That'd be a cool prequel
Okay.
series. It'd be like, hey, we have the movies. Here's the dope ass prequel series of this.
Sure.
Well,
It's a-
actually,
Andrea,
Oh.
Andrea, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I was just gonna say I would like to see more of either like webtoons or manhwa become anime.
Yeah.
Right now they're like hyper focused on making a bunch of those, but they're all like similar ones. They're either like romances or like time travel romance. Like they're just like variations on a same theme. And I read so many cool like fantasy, sci-fi stories that I would love to see turn into like an anime series.
Room of
So I would
Swords.
really like studios to just like branch out.
Mhm.
It's
Sure.
I'm getting oversaturated with like
Mhm.
my love drama at work or like time travel. Now I'm dating
Mhm.
my boss. I don't know.
Sure.
Like there are well done ones of those and I do enjoy them. It's just like so
Yeah.
saturated right now. And there are a
Yeah.
lot of other cool stories.
Room of
You
Swords.
know-
Room of Swords, Andrea.
Yes. Suitor
Laura-
Armor.
Laura-
I would
Laura
love
Olympus.
that.
I think they are making Laura Olympus into a TV show eventually.
Okay. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Suitor Armor. I would love to see that.
I've not read that one, but I think Dano did.
Oh, it's so good. It's super good. There's one I'm reading right now, and I cannot recall the title for the life of me, but it's about like a Mexican sorcerer who accidentally like pair bonds with a zombie woman that he's supposed to be waking for someone else.
Oh yeah,
And now they have to like Right, like-
Love to Death or something like that. Or
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
God, that one's so good.
That's the same creators as Room of Swords, by the way.
Yeah, they do excellent work.
Yeah, they really
So
do.
yeah, so I would just love to see like a branching out because there are so many cool stories that are not being tapped right now.
Spoilers, that turns into a thruple. Just saying.
I know. No spoilers.
Okay.
That was a very short spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Edit
Spoilers,
that.
here it is.
I didn't want her to hear it, so I didn't want to give her too much warning.
Mike, I think you were going to say you had an idea. You had something you wanted.
I didn't have my own idea. I was rolling with Phil's.
Mm.
It's not quite Lord of the Rings. It's adjacent, and it's Dungeons and Dragons, which is so heavily based off that. But if you haven't watched Critical Role, that's a really fun one. I wish there was more of it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Legends
and
of
that's
Vox
right.
Machina.
There's
Mhm.
right. I never saw it yet, but only heard good things. And then to the Lord of the Rings point, I don't think it's going to be an anime production, but they are making an animated series of Lord of the Rings. I think that's the next thing coming out. I
It
forget
is
exactly what
a
that's called.
film. It's going to be about the two towers. What is
But,
it?
yeah,
Ah.
the forming of the two
Mhm.
towers or something like that.
Oh,
No, Helm's Deep. Sorry, it's going to be
Oh, right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Oh,
the king who it's like whoever Helm
Theoden.
used.
Helm Hammerhand.
Yes, it'll be his story.
Oh.
Like the first time that they used Helm's Deep and that's how it becomes saved. And it's gonna be the War of Rohirrim or something. I saw it randomly on the
That's
internet,
really
and I
sweet.
just scoured every piece of information. I was just like, "Hey, Mike," my stepdad, like, bah, 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 bah. As I'm reading it on Wikipedia, I'm just and this.
Nice.
John, I mentioned that like when they just like had just like literally announced it, had no details on it, but like 4 months ago, like we talked about it on the pod, and I was cautiously excited because it sounds like Amazon is not involved.
Oh,
Who's making it has the proper rights.
Yeah,
I like the Rings of Power. Honestly, I mean,
I just want to kick you off the show for that. I'm just like,
you don't even watch it.
I know. I'm not
I
going
did.
to watch it.
There were such cool elements, Phil, and then there were some things that made me so mad.
It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it.
But yeah, the cinematography and the world building, I mean, like, excellent. That was money well spent.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Just probably could have like fine-tuned some storylines.
Amazon might disagree with the money well spent at this point.
Well,
we'll see.
Well, I mean, as a viewer, oh my god, it was gorgeous.
That
They
whole
can just
thing
lay
with
out
the
some more
stranger
developers.
and I loved it all. I thought it was great.
Oh, the dwarves were my favorite.
Oh yeah, the dwarves are great. I thought it was good. I'm pretty easy.
I'm going to clip this and just let you take the heat.
People can dislike it. I don't care. I'm pretty easy to please, frankly.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Phil's the kind of guy that he wakes up in the morning and he likes his plain oatmeal with a side of buttered toast and black coffee, and that's enough.
Wait, who, me? Who?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You.
Yeah.
You.
Anyway, so one
Magic-
other series. Speaking of just
Go.
Magic Gathering, I just looked it up. There is already an anime out. Just nobody knows about it.
What is it called?
I don't know. I just Googled because I was like Magic the Gathering. That's what I want to anime of. And then I just saw there's something out there. It's not called Magic. It's like it has some obscure title, and then it's like a Magic the Gathering series. But one series that I wish that production wouldn't have ruined with real people was Halo. Paramount absolutely butchered with some no-name actor without a helmet, and then they're naked and having feelings. It's like, dude, the whole point of the character was just to not have feelings and just murder people.
Yes.
Well,
So-
the feelings it was subtle. Like the relationship between Cortana and Master Chief was like relationship of respect that sort of builds over the series,
In the games.
Yeah.
What's
so
that?
anyway, they did a huge disservice to all the fans, but they could easily just scrap that, make a dope anime, bring back some awesome voice casters, and be done with it.
That would fit really well with an anime style, I think. That whole world.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something animated of that too, isn't there?
There
Isn't
is.
there a film or something? It's
There's an animated one. They also have the film, the Forward Under. It was like a Halo 4 prequel to Halo 4. It was the best Chief. Forward Under Dawn. That was it. And it was Colonel Lasky when he was in training when the Covenant first attacked.
Yeah.
Excellent movie. Portrayed all the bad guys awesomely, and the Chief was a badass. That he wasn't even the main character. He was just used as a side piece to it. And he was it was fantastic use of it. That's how I thought the show would be. They just had
I think
like troopers.
isn't the woman
better.
from the Narnia movies in that?
Yes, she is in Forward Under Dawn. She's the main character.
Spoiler alert,
Yeah,
she takes one to the gut.
God, what's with this spoiler
Dude,
and then the spoiler?
10 years old. It's like 10 years old.
Yeah, there's no spoilers. What's the time limit, John, for spoilers?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my
We've
God,
talked
we
about
had
this
week,
such a
before.
or I
debate
saw
about
that
that.
movie when I was living at my other
And-
parents' house.
Andrew got down on me because I
No,
did
my
a
dad's
spoiler
basement.
alert on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I'm like, it's a 30-year-old
That's right.
show.
It's like 20 years old.
Yep.
You deserve it, man.
We should just mention, I forgot to mention this, MASH, season 2 of MASH is back. So there's like 2 episodes now.
Yeah.
Oh, Mash'em.
Yep.
Cool.
I was like,
Not the military sitcom from.
I'm sorry, not MASH.
speaking of like
Mash,
things that have
Mashal,
aged, spoilers.
Mashal,
like-
Magic
Yeah.
Muscles.
Spoiler alert, Radar's dead.
Come on, man. I'm only in season 2.
Yeah.
Here's a funny story about MASH, real quick. My grandpa in Wisconsin used to watch it on a little 13-inch screen. So we'd go over there all the time. He'd be watching MASH, just watch it all day long. My dad buys him, a big flat screen TV, because, the 55 inches now they're just thrown away, right? Throws on MASH, and he's like, first thing he tells my dad is like, I can't believe I can see like the scene. You can just see so much more because it's not just a little dinky, 13-inch screen that's like a box of, just one of those tube TVs. And he was like, it's widescreen. It's in HD. I can see everything. He just lit up. He doesn't smile too often, but when it was one of those things. It's like, it's like watching it for the first time again.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was super awesome.
I didn't realize that the actor who played Radar, apparently he had arthritis or something up with his hand. And so every time he's in scenes, he always has a clipboard. He's always holding a clipboard. He can't his hand.
Is it like what Bill Nye has? Where your hand curls and you can't...
Yeah.
Bill Nye has that?
What happened?
Bill Nye.
Oh.
From like Harry Potter and Pirates of the Caribbean and some
Love
of that.
Actually,
What happens
Pirates. Yeah.
Bill Nye, you get a condition where you're like, I don't know, stuff tightens in your hands and you can't really uncurl your hand.
Sure.
It just kind of stuck, starts becoming more and more clenched.
Wow.
So, and he has,
He does a lot of
had
like
for
these
years.
gestures
Okay.
with his hands. He'll do something like this.
Guy.
Nope, not that one.
No, fair.
Okay, Tony, what do you you have any idea what you want to see made into an anime?
My first thought is the amazing grim dark future of the 41st millennia in Warhammer 40K. I think that would be a phenomenal, because the best part about that is that there's not there's a set overarching narrative. You don't even have to stick to it. Like, I just want to see war.
I'm just waiting for Superman to come. He's in charge of Warhammer, and they gave him full creative control.
I know.
So
I'm so excited for that.
I've never seen anything for Warhammer. I don't know any of the lore, but I'm already going to tell you, I'll watch it. Really?
Sorry. No. Mike's comment in the chat.
Yeah, I just read that too. You guys do Warhammer?
No.
We did.
Oh.
He so we were at a card store and he just was enthralled with it. And I'm like, listen, man, you can buy it with your own money. You can try this, right? But it's hard, right? And it's kind of extreme for what you're trying to get into. And damn it, man, he did it today. So he has files and he has the clips and stuff like that. So he sanded the pieces down. He glued them all together. I think it's downstairs right now, but it's actually put together just like it's supposed to be. He made his little selections between what weapon to do and what armor and helmet. And this is awesome.
Cool.
He did it all by himself. Never asked for any help.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's adorable.
And now Mike has taught Leo the importance of horrible financial decisions that will now carry on through his adulthood. Because if there is one thing that bankrupts besides Magic the Gathering, it's Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
It's the importance of, if you've made the bad decision, you should just double down and do it.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm really setting him up.
Leo.
Yeah, right.
I play Magic. I have pew-pews. I am an amateur racer. I play Magic the Gathering. I have all of the bad financial habits. We have 2 gaming computers. Like, he's screwed. He's absolutely screwed. This might be step 1, but he's been down this path for a while now.
Well, you let me know when that army is built, and we'll
I will
make it happen.
I don't know if he's going to stick with the Chaos Space Marines or if he's going to try somebody else, but that was his first foray. Now he says he wants to paint it. That'll be a clusterfuck. But
hey, my painted ones are terrible.
Buying ones I thought were cool and building them and painting them. I never built like an actual army until I was like in my adult life.
I think we lost JP, guys. I think his audio went dead.
No, I'm talking. This happens to dual as my bedroom as well. So dark mode is engaged.
Creepy. I love it.
Perfect. Speaking of grimdark, yeah, exactly. You're in it.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great choice for an anime. That'd be a good one. It would be something that is, I think it would be an instant success if done well, as also because it's a type of show that a lot of people, especially sort of our age and older, are missing. They're missing the feeling of Berserk or Ninja Scroll, something that is just no cutesy, like grittier style, and something like Warhammer would fit into that marvelously. So, yeah. Good choices, everyone. We'll see what happens. Netflix is throwing a lot of money around, so who knows? Any of it is possible. We should move into Jujutsu Kaisen now, though. Tony, I know you're not caught up, so I'm not going to say spoiler and then immediately tell you all the big crazy shit that's been happening in this. I'll let you find out on your own.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was good seeing y'all, and I will hit you up on the next one.
Good to see you,
Great to
Tony.
see you, Tony. Now hang up.
Okay, bye.
Spoiler alert!
Okay, bye.
Nice. All right. So we're going to talk about the last two episodes. Just see kind of how we thought the end of the season wrapped up, and then we'll have to go through and like overall thoughts, the show, the season, all that stuff. So let's see. JP, what'd you think of the last couple episodes?
So overall, the second season I felt like 4 times as much action as the first season. And I really, really, I enjoyed every second of it. I mean, maybe I don't even think the first half was that slow, to be honest. And it was just different. Yeah, it was just different battles. I did feel like some of the battles were just like the patch face felt like such a letdown for however many episodes they were fighting for it to end like that.
Too many. Too many. It's
just like, oh, how many freaking trump cards does this guy have? But I will say the funniest, over the last 7 episodes, the funniest part to me was the guy that had the miracle that saved him from Patchface. Like, oh, a miracle comes and Ichidori or whatever comes out of nowhere and I'm saved. And then after they do fight a little bit, he's like, be gone. He's like, okay, I lived. I can't believe I survived. And then gets his face chopped off or whatever. I thought that, I don't know why that was funny for seeing somebody get the face chopped off, but
wait, I'm a little confused. Who are we talking? Who are we talking about here?
Okay, it was a no-name character. I don't even remember his name. That's why it was. A lot of people died.
With the sword, with the hand sword.
Yeah,
he's the guy who kept stabbing people in the back.
Maybe he was like he had a sword, but he was just like
a noxious ponytail kid.
Yeah, that guy, and he's just like, "Hey, somebody save me!"
Yeah,
his secret ability. I thought there was a lot of trump cards being played in the last couple episodes. I was just like, my God. Felt like Dragon Ball Z's like, oh, I've got one last thing, one last transformation, one last. It's just like, okay, let's just get down to.
The suicide gamble paid off.
Yeah, exactly. My last ditch, ultimate effort. Everyone is going at 120% of their max capacity. So stuff like that, gives me the Dragon Ball Z.
So you didn't enjoy
vibes.
Every minute of it.
I didn't enjoy. So when it felt like it was dragging out for whatever reason, I felt like they could have maybe tightened it up, but got to whip those developers into place and make sure we need to deliver this many episodes. So they found a way to do it, but I still enjoyed it overall.
Okay. All right. Phil?
Yeah, the last 2 episodes I thought were awesome. I loved when is it Toto? His friend Toto, Besto Friendo showed up, and kind of in like the darkest hour, and Yuji's just like done. And then Todo shows up. Oh, it was awesome. Was that the last 2 episodes, or was that? Do we already?
No.
That was a couple ago.
Oh, yeah, whatever. I love that.
But I agree with you so much. I want you to mention it because
so much.
they're like his energy coming back into the show was the breath of fresh air I needed.
Absolutely.
His whole imagination dream where he's like
Yep.
this girl.
Yep.
Fighting.
Yep.
Just
Awesome.
the best.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed how they kind of wrapped up the season, and I like Yuta coming back, and seeing him. I forget. Yeah, so this is the problem. This is my problem, is that I watch these episodes immediately when they're available. And then I don't go back and watch them before the pod because I'm a silly, silly man. I kind of need to like see some more stills. I can't remember what happened in the last 2 episodes exactly.
Give us stills.
Okay, so
But,
before we move on,
Give Phil still. Give Phil still. Give Phil still.
or just,
before we move on, I will
Jog my memory.
just do a little bit of a summary here. So
Synopsis.
basically, we're Shibuya is totaled.
Yep.
It's wasted.
Yes.
Mhm.
And we're kind of coming to what seems like a final confrontation in the barren wasteland that was Shibuya Crossing and everything like that. And it's Yuji has been saved / is battling with Todo, and our fake ghetto arrives when they finally bring Mojito to his knees.
Yep.
And he is looking rough.
Yep.
So, we get, hey, is Ghetto, are you going to save, he asks Mojito, you want me to save him? And
And you absorb
he
him.
decides to consume him.
Yep.
And
Like
this is when
rolls him up into
more
a marble.
people,
Baller.
yeah,
That was
more people
cool
start
visual.
coming out of the woodwork that we
Yep.
haven't seen in a while.
Yep.
Some other school students, and we have a confrontation here, trying one last effort to get Gojo's prison box back,
Yep.
and things don't work out, and we get sort of a recap, like what is happening here to the expanding area of Tokyo that's being consumed by darkness here, and what Jujutsu Sorcerer Society and the government of Japan at large are enacting throughout the country. That's basically the broad strokes of the last 2 episodes.
And we find out who is inside Ghetto. He's like this sorcerer from
Body snatcher.
Sorcerer from like a long time ago, super powerful. People thought was dead, but he's not really dead. That
Camo
kind of
clan or something.
Yeah. I read an article that talked about the scene with Mei Mei and her brother, and how apparently in the manga that was really quite what's the word?
A little more salacious.
Yeah, like I think there was a lot of people. I mean, there was people were like split on that. Like even in the manga, like that's inappropriate or that's going too far. And so then they were like surprised that they also put in the anime, because even the manga caught a lot of flack for being like a little too out there with like incest, abuse of a minor, that kind of thing.
Well, do we know what? I mean, I don't know anyways, and the show doesn't seem to have strictly told us what their relationship is exactly.
The article I read, which was referencing the manga, said that it's her little brother. So I don't know. But again, I didn't go and like verify it beyond the article, so I could be wrong.
No, so having watched the English dub, like that's one of those points of clarification that I was referring to. He refers to her as his big sister numerous times, and she refers to him as her little brother.
Right.
And I mean, I don't think that you're, necessarily calling that like as just a familiar name or anything like that. I mean, they seem pretty pointed about what it is.
Yeah, they have same color hair. I mean, It just,
I mean, right. That's what they had always referred to each other as. I just know we had discussed like before a possibility that
Is he
she
a construct?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
oh, sure.
you know, that
Just
he's
like in their battle when he was like talking about dying for her, and she's like, "You'll do it many times," and there was like a hint
Yeah.
of like,
Sure.
So I don't know if it's, you know, because there obviously is in plenty of anime sort of a, you know, like a weird obsession brother sister thing and
Yeah.
whatever. I didn't know if it was going straight down that line
Sure.
or if there was something more to it here. So,
mhm.
but she also, I mean, we talk about the scene while we're here then with seemingly like, I mean, is she a traitor? Like, that's the question, you know, because
Yeah.
she's on the phone, she's making plans, keep me in the loop.
Yep.
And she was off to face our fake ghetto and
Right.
then ends up here safe and away from it all, drinking champagne or wine.
Yep.
So,
Yep. I
suspicious.
kind of read it as if she was like, I'm in it for myself, and I'm just like trying to make money and do my thing. I'm not aligned at all. But I don't care who I have to like screw over to like do what I want to do. That's how I kind of
Sure.
read it. But
Yeah. Okay. Mike, what did you think of the last 2 episodes?
Nah, I didn't like them, but hey, no surprise. I mean,
What?
I like the show enough
ahead.
to go back and rewatch it, right? But they felt really flat to me. Like it was, it felt like it was more important to set up season 3 than it was to bring together season 2. Right? I mean, the mojito thing. It sucks having that taken away, but at the same time, that's kind of been a hallmark of this show, right? Is like there's not a whole lot of happy moments that come through about this, and so it's almost like the resolve of Yuji getting to take down Mojito, and then that being ripped away from him, kind of feels right in line with the show and what it's tried to do in the past. But like, I think if you need to spend a portion of the show just explaining with a voiceover everything that has happened, that the aftermath effects and how the Japanese government is reacting to all this, like that is stuff that could have been shown if you didn't spend 8 goddamned weeks with combat. And that part frustrates me because, you know, the first half of this season had combat and had good storytelling. And then that was tossed aside for combat amongst all sorts of different people, some of which mattered far more than others, some fights that mattered far more than others. But like take Yuji's battle with the locust curse guy.
thinking that.
Take that away. And absolutely nothing is different.
Yep.
But that time could have been spent showing us the aftermath of pseudo ghetto's thing.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I feel about it as a whole. Having the I can't remember her name, the special grade show up and like confront Ghetto.
Yep.
I felt again like that was an opportunity for something to be really cool, and then that fell flat as well. Like that's just the last 2 episodes as a whole for me.
Mike, did you like how they did as some of the main characters were kind of getting killed off, how they did the kind of, hey, let's do a backstory on them, or for the rewind?
Sometimes, because
I felt like that would have been more. I enjoyed those more than what it was doing with what you just explained.
Yeah, the girl's backstory. That was like a whole episode, right?
A lot of
whole episode.
It was like at least half an episode for sure.
They really went 0 to 100. Like it was either all combat or we're going to just explain the whole time.
Yeah.
And talk over. So maybe 50-50 or even 25 would have been slightly better.
I think that would have been better. I mean, sure, it makes her death impactful, but if they rewind her death and that person is able to, recover her or heal her enough, then I'm more on board with you, JP, of like, dude, didn't need that if it wasn't going to really matter.
It'll be like Demon Slayer then, right? Where they're like, oh, we're going to kill her. Spent the whole, here's 10 minutes of remembrance.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
We thought we were going to kill her.
Well, and the same with Nanami. But Nanami's was a bit more of that action pack, like where he's in his state of mind where he's on the beach, he's kind of ready to pass and he's still fighting. So like if that's what gets you off, then you're getting some fighting while you're getting a little bit of that.
Sure.
That one made more sense to me. I like Nanami's because that was more half and half, and then he gets blown to freaking bits.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a badass way to go, but.
Well, and I'll say here's the thing. They all make sense, right? All of those they're impactful. They make sense. It's not that I wouldn't want them in there, but it's because they haven't used their other time wisely for so many episodes. It makes us discuss what should we be cutting away? We really shouldn't be cutting that kind of stuff away. That's what makes the show really good. The fighting, I think we've talked about this before. The fighting, it's just fighting. And so, it's really heavily reliant on the animation. So if the animation isn't that great and you don't have any story, then your fight kind of sucks. And if your fight is, if the powers that are laid out aren't very clearly drawn, then your fight kind of sucks like that, and then the whole show sort of does. But if you give this backstory and you actually tell us about something and show the impact and show that it matters, then that's a much better show to me. And so you just got a voiceover telling me at the end of this what all has happened. And I'm like, that is telling and not showing. And that's like the cardinal sin, right? In storytelling.
Yeah.
It's like reverse exposition, which is something we dread so often in the beginning of these shows, is the episode that literally has to go into so much detail to set everything up that you're like, oh my God. That's what these two episodes felt like. The reverse of that. It was like closing out exposition, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Especially watching the last 5 episodes, what it really reminded me of is you're doing a boss fight in a video game. You get the health bar all the way down to a cutscene, and then it's all the way back up, and it's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're at 10%. I'm still at 40% life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's turn it up a notch.
Did you like the couple episodes leading up to the final 2? Because I think you weren't on that pod. So when Toto came and fought with Yuji and those fights, do you like those ones?
So the Toto part I liked because in that they were showing you were seeing an inner struggle in Yuji, right? On deciding whether or not he should just give this up. Is it better for him to die so that Guy can't get out?
Sukuna.
Right?
Yeah, Sukuna.
Yep, Sukuna. So he's going through that, and they managed to have him go through that, in a strong enough way while also showing combat. That's the kind of bread and butter that I would like to see out of the show.
Yeah.
And Toto coming in and giving a degree of inspiration, right? And I think you guys were talking about, is she really dead? Is she not?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nobata.
Right.
Yep.
In that moment, she needed to not be dead for Yuji to get through that. And that's all they needed to give him. And I liked that.
Yep.
I hope they play with whether or not that ends up still being the right choice. That'd be really interesting to me.
Yeah.
If he keeps fighting, he keeps making this decision and people keep egging him on, and it's in reality, nah, man, you should have just died a long time ago.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, especially if Sukuna does get out and just wrecks everyone in the country.
Right. I do find it interesting too that now that we have, who Geto is, right? The brain thing has been revealed in the season, and what his powers are, the fact that he absorbs, the body and the other powers. It's super interesting. He just feels like he's an inverse version of Tengen. Tengen is this guy who needs this soul, and he assimilates the soul into him, and that kind of keeps him going. That soul doesn't have any further memories, but he remains Tengen. This guy is kind of the opposite way, substitute brain for soul, and he uses the body right? And that's how
That's
he kind of
interesting.
keeps going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they haven't really highlighted Tengen as being a central figure to this outside of just telling us that he's important.
Right.
So I wonder if those two are going to come to a head.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I mean, I think so. They seem to hint in, I think, the last episode that they're going to confront Tengen.
Mm-hmm.
Someone
Yep.
is. I can't remember who, but they're. So I feel like hopefully that's something
And
that
there was
actually materializes.
some exposition thrown out there quick talking about like, you know, how the effect of Tengen on Japan is going to make a big difference for the wider world or whatever. Like how I don't remember what that was exactly, but
Right.
you know, they talked about how the majority of, you know, curse users and some of that are in Japan. And
Right.
so, yeah, the defining better and seeing how the role of Tengen or the loss of Tengen really affects everyone would be good to know. Andrea, last 2 episodes for you.
I mean, I feel like I already said it. I found it really rough. Like, it was just such a long, overdrawn battle with Mahito to get here. And then it was like unsatisfying in the worst kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not unsatisfying where things happen and you're like, or like Yuji doesn't like end up getting his revenge. Like, that's unsatisfying, but like there could still be a story element that like moves his character ahead that you're like, okay, like I wish he'd gotten that, but damn, this is interesting stuff that's happening. And this was like, yeah, I mean, it's already been said, this was just like so out of balance in storytelling, so much fighting. And I was just so over Mahito. I was so over that battle and his like smarmy comments. Like there is just like one too many times. Like just go. Like I could have skipped to him killing or not killing. You know, she's Schrodinger's cat now. Nobara. Like I could have gotten there faster because that was really important. Yuji's breakdown was so important and well done, and he was just at his lowest, and then. Besto friendo. Like his whole energy, like I just love his character. He's so simple and solid. And he comes in and he's literally like, I just want to go find Yuji and fight with him because he's my best friend. He's my little brother. Everybody go do some stuff. Be helpful. But I'm going to go do this.
Yep.
And even when like Mahito's trying to keep him away from the fight and he's like, stop trying to leave me out. Like I want to fight. So like all of that was great. And then it felt like we just like skipped ahead to like, oh, okay, Geto's here, gonna like absorb. But now it's like the real battle, but we don't have time. So just like here, stuff.
Yeah.
And end.
Yeah.
Because what kind of happened? He ended up just like leaving, right? He's like, all right, go
Here's
fight
all
another
my-
day.
Cool blood magic,
Right.
man. Peace.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so just like,
Oh yeah, the blood magic guy took him on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, which was fun.
That was cool.
The only things I can say I love about these last 2 episodes were like the reunions that we were getting, like characters who were coming in from like side stories and like random flashbacks. And you're like, you, okay, so you're here for this thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was fun.
I agree.
But like, it was all like too brief because they were like, season end.
Yeah.
And too convenient. You know, a lot of times it was too many instances where he had people show up at the last moment, save someone last second. It's like we're in a giant open nothing battlefield and another person comes out of nowhere at the exact right time to be
Where
able
were
to
they
block
hiding?
a thing or right. And you know, you can have some of those surprises, but you just have too many. It would have been nice to know that the other school students were really trying to get there, to see the focus on their progress to try to get to them or something like that, as opposed to just surprise out of nowhere because it was just too many. And then big reveals we didn't have time for, like blood magic user, blood brother of Itadori. I mean,
Sounds like they're like brothers. So,
Yeah, they glossed over that real quick. Like, oh, I guess he's my brother because I couldn't see when things happen.
That could have been something more emotional or whatever, or like literally if Yuji would have killed him and found out in that moment or something.
Right.
Didn't they like infer that from their battle and him like having Yuji's blood?
Right.
Yes. He could like feel Yuji when he was like basically dying before Sukuna saved him.
Yeah.
Right, because he was after Yuji because he had actually killed his brothers.
Right.
And then now like Yuji's like his new brother, but he hates him, but he loves him because he's his brother. It was so like
and then he was trying to help him because he's like this.
Yeah. Right. No, that was like such an interesting like blip. It was like I hate you, but like you're my blood brother now, so like like I owe you what I would owe my brothers, but I also hate you for killing my other brothers. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there'll be more revealed about all that, because we never really learned a ton about Yuji's backstory. It kind of just like was part of the show, and then he ate that finger to save his friend, and then he was in the school, and then maybe they talked about it a little bit, his parents and stuff, but there's a lot of unknowns about his background, I feel like. Or maybe I'm just forgetting it, which happens.
No, I agree. Yeah. We knew his like grandpa, and some of that.
Right. Yeah.
But not much else.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So kind of talked, it seems like people are a little mostly disappointed with the wrap up, the ending of season 2. We could talk about whatever, wherever, overall thoughts.
Sure.
You're happier than I suggesting, Phil?
I was just going to say, I liked the final 2 episodes. I agree with some of the critiques that like John and Andrea have. I still enjoyed all the episodes. Like kind of what we talked about before. We get real, we're critiquing it. So we think, but overall, I thought I liked the season. I enjoyed it. I was always excited for the next episode. So I don't really have major complaints, but I don't disagree with you guys with some of your points.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm not coming back for like season 3.
Sure.
It just means that like I would love to see more balance, because the end felt disappointingly dissatisfying. Not like as a viewer of the crafting of these episodes, not just like the stories were unsatisfying.
Absolutely, there's definitely room for improvement, and could have made things clearer and paced things better. And I agree with all that for sure.
Yeah, what's sad to me is I think that we could have a pretty dramatically improved show just through a re-edit, which is too bad, because I talked constantly about how this was over-directed for what we were getting. Like I really liked a lot of the the artistic eye behind the direction of things. That started to get fewer and fewer in between as things moved on. And it started to just feel kind of like it's always how I always imagined the Stephanie Meyer writing Twilight, just like in a horny huff of like repressed emotion, just the word to the page as fast as possible.
Is
like
that how
editing
all authors
be damned.
work?
Well, but then you go back and you like cooler head, and you go through it again, and like it just was so. We must spit the information out there, because I liked where a lot of things were going, and like finally character on the screen now, the cool woman from before, talk to Ghetto. Like I was waiting for her to come back, waiting for these returns, and like this sort of ending, I think ultimately would have been fine if we just had time for them to breathe. So if we cut this season in half almost, we could just cut out the frivolous battles, focused, understand what those are the hard decisions that people have to make. They talk about all the time. Directors have to leave things on the cutting room floor, and they just wanted to have it all. They wanted to have every battle that's conceivable. They want to have every character that people might be a fan of to be on the screen at some point and do something. And it was too much. We didn't have. The season can't contain that. And a re-edit could really change things.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Because I remember us being really, really high on this season coming in. Like with the first few episodes we're talking, we were like, well, this is definitely a different pace. It feels like a different story, right? Coming off of the movie as well.
Yep.
But you see why that movie was important. But there was the front half of this was very story focused, all the way leading up to like episode 11 or something like that. And then you just got hit from episode 11 to like episode 21 was just repeat combat. There was some morsels of storytelling in there, like when after Sukuna does all his deal, right? When Yuji is revealed of the destruction that is caused, there's that piece. There's a little bit with Megumi, right? Who learns, about who like his dad was, but not quite, but sort of.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but we get to like see his power. Like,
that was fun.
Yeah, right. There's morsels of it. It's there. But like John's saying, a little bit of that editing difference would be great because it was just chunked so much, And rewatching it a second time, I'm into it all the way until like I can't remember the exact spot, the exact episodes. I wanted to. I think it was like Dull Knife or something like that, where that's where my phone started. Like I wanted to grab my phone and start playing a game while I'm doing it because nothing but silly action is happening on the screen, and the action can be cool.
Yeah,
but we know I've got some issues with that. I'm not here for it. And then that lasts all the way into the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So where would you what was happening exactly? Where would you say that started for you? Where you started to feel distracted and
was that volcano guy battle?
No, it was well before that. No, it was before that. It was even the biggest part was the biggest part I remember it was when Chozo and Yuji fight with the blood magic. Because I remember that was another one where it's just like, dude, this guy has all the answers. And there's something about this show that just bugs the shit out of me, which is like, listen, if you've got a hole in your spleen, no, you don't get to keep fighting. That's asinine. I hate that. That's where my suspension of disbelief is gone. I can take that you can like dish out and receive a bunch of damage and you're more durable. But he got pierced by the blood magic and kept going like at the same rate. Have him slow down or like, so it was about there where I'm just like, that's where I checked out again. And it's fair that following that, right? The 2 girls feed him a bunch of fingers, and then Jogo, feeds him a bunch of fingers, and then you get this morsel of cool again, and then we're back just straight into fights. So, I really the part fighting the octopus guy. What if that doesn't happen? What if that didn't happen? No change.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Like, what can we just, if we just like go through, what can we just chop out? Yeah. So I agree. That fight, whole octopus guy, I mean, the frames per second guy, it's one of those things. We want to introduce this guy. We've seen him before. Well, what does he do? Well, we don't need to know about right now. Right. We don't need him already. Yeah. So the whole thing gone.
Agreed.
Yeah, there's one too many of those in the sense of like some of these we needed, I think, in terms of like losing actual people.
Sure.
Like somebody obviously needed to die. We can't Game of Thrones this in the last seasons where everybody survives the battles.
Yes.
We can't do it.
Agreed.
And we needed to lose people for Yuji to like have this like questioning, because I still really do like that. But we didn't need everything. We still could have had these moments, and we could have edited out other stuff. And these moments, I think, would have been even more impactful then, because we would have been less, I don't know, oversaturated by combat. So maybe things just would have felt more like, I don't know, tense. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
I want to say this feels like we were watching an Avengers movie, but didn't have any of the movies beforehand with the background. We just went straight to fighting, and you had no idea who anybody was.
Like Infinity War, and we have no context.
Yep, people are dying. You're like, oh, I don't really know you, but sorry.
Iron Man gets
Cool.
a flashback of his life.
Yeah,
That's-
everyone gets
Yeah.
that's how they do the backstory. You get a flashback right before you're dead. So
Right.
I think
I
Which again is like cool once, but like don't overuse it.
right.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
the obvious answer for an easy one they could have cut was that battle with Megumi's like final 10th curse or
Mhm.
spirit thing right after Sukuna just fought Jogo for a whole episode.
Yeah.
So I think Mikey made that a reference on a different episode too after we did those. Where it was just like, why? Right? I mean, it was like
Right.
cool, but one of those is fine. One of those battles is
Pick
fine.
one.
But both back to back. That's too much.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an oversaturation.
Vortex HD's in the chat. Thanks
What
for
up?
jumping in.
Hey,
Greetings.
Hey.
We are talking Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. There will be spoilers, just so everybody's aware. Okay, so we've cut out a couple fights already.
wait, John. What do we hear? What you thought of the final two episodes?
Yeah.
We heard from everyone else.
Well, I mean, I liked what overall I liked where it was trying to get us.
Yeah,
We just needed time to be there.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
to have those moments, like a show her on the screen. I wish I would know her name, but if Big Blonde Lady was back sooner, get to know her a little bit. That would be excellent.
Totally.
Like have her do something. She
Right.
really just because it was a great setup in the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these things were just we didn't have the time to pay them off then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vortex says I wanted more Toji talking wholeheartedly to Megumi. His one short
Yes.
comment was sweet about what is your name. I just wanted push for a bit more,
Yeah.
father and stuff.
Couldn't agree more.
Father and son. Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. I agree. Yeah, that'd have been nice. The only problem was there wasn't really like. I mean, we talked about this. Is like, was that Toji? It wasn't really
Hence,
Toji.
they're just forgettable.
It was like a demon version of Toji that was like reanimated, kind
Yeah.
of.
Well, yeah, his
But it
body
could've-
was so powerful that it overtook the soul.
Right.
Right.
Or
But
something.
it could have been interesting to like go like into like a philosophical question then, like how much does he feel of that? Like
Right.
does he feel that, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
could have gotten into some interesting like
Yeah.
moments of like, you're my son, I feel something, but what do I feel? Because
Right.
this isn't me, but
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. They were doing some of that earlier in the season, like questioning, throwing out like the philosophical, what are the limits of the soul, and like what is the soul's shape and form, and where does the soul extend? This could have been another cool moment like that.
Yeah. Agreed. That would have been cool.
Andrea, I know you have to bounce pretty quick. So like what
Yeah.
any other big thoughts you have before you have to leave? Like overall, how you rate the season or what you're looking
Sure.
forward to going into season 3?
Yeah. So I was thinking about this season, and it's the way that I feel about like, and okay, I'm going to preface this, like, take it easy. It's the way that I feel about Cowboy Bebop, but to a lesser extent. So I like Cowboy Bebop overall. I like Jujutsu Kaisen. I like this season overall. There are mini arcs that I just like get wrapped up in and fall in love with. And then there are episodes where I'm like totally pulling back. Like just, I'm going to get out of here before John reads that bomb, JP. But there are episodes where the storyline like really struggles or feels off balance, and unfortunately, we ended on one of those like on storylines. So it's hard for it not to like taint the season for me, but overall, I did like it.
The difference between
Oh, no.
Cowboy Bebop and this is obviously that Bebop is episodic. Like there's an overarching story, but it's episodic. So like absolutely, there are episodes that might not appeal to someone. This is every
Well, this-
episode, one to the next is the story.
But it wasn't though, like, because we did have like a mini series of like total background divorced, you know what I mean? And
Sure,
it
our
comes
beginning
up
part.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like there were clearly like sort of named episodes that were intended to be like these little mini arcs. And for the first part of the season, I felt like it had that. And then it started like bleeding out into this like long overarching arc that was supposed to be separate but wasn't, and I didn't enjoy it as much.
Sure.
Fair.
All right. Well, Andrea, I'm glad you were able to...
JP, just stirring trouble in this chat.
Anytime that I can get John to get a rise out of him, because everybody knows that the Bebop anime was not as good as the real life one, but
You're going to make Vortex leave. He's going to leave after that kind of nonsense. He's going to think the rest of us sanction those.
he says he's German. He's used to stirring the pot. That's all they did over there. Stir the pot, making trouble.
And on that bombshell.
Spoiler alert.
Well, Andrea, thank you very much for being here.
Yes.
We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Good to see you guys. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. So yeah, Vortex is talking more. He, again, wants the father-son stuff. And he did mention that the dub was a big, like it was really good, actually. And you were just saying that, Mike. Yeah.
Yes. So Vortex, yeah, I was saying that I went through and watched it a second time. Strangely enough, primarily because the Crunchyroll has an app for my TV now. And I don't have to push it from my phone to the TV. So I started watching that through Prime and flipped it and just started it again. And it was in the dub. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of digging this. I'm kind of into it. And you're right. I mean, even watching the sub, trying to keep up with what is happening on the screen, trying to match that with what they're saying. And then sometimes the translations did not feel totally coherent. It felt like I was missing something. And the dub actually, I think it cut some scenes. Like when Mei Mei and Wei Wei, whatever, are fighting that the curse that is like the plague curse. If I remember correctly, the first time I watched this with the sub, there was like multiple instances of her getting trapped in a coffin before she figured out what was happening, right? In the dub, that's not the case. It happens once, they've got a solution, they play it out. It was almost like a Dragon Ball Z Kai. Like it just felt crisper. Yeah.
You're sure about that? That's crazy.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But what I'm saying is like it felt more coherent nonetheless. Sure. And like just the dialogue back and forth seemed to make way more sense. So
sure. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go back and watch this anyway. So I'll just wait till they're all out on dub. And
they're all out.
I think they are.
Oh, they are all out.
Yep.
Oh, great.
Yep. They're all out. And it's good, like I said.
I think I watched the first season in English, and I remember really liking it. I think I just was like, well, I guess I'll have to switch to Japanese because I want to watch the episodes now. So,
honestly, I think if it wasn't for this podcast, like I'll come back to this again, these things are better absorbed as a whole than they are on a weekly basis, because there is not enough depth from episode 11 to 21 to warrant a weekly release. There's just not. It was so heavily weighted towards fighting that that it's much better when you can condense it. Now, if they hit us with more episodes, like the episode where Gojo is trapped and you see the impact that seeing Geto in front of him, even though he knows that it can't really be him, but it stuns him, like that kind of impact, that's worth the weekly episode.
Yeah.
All the other stuff isn't. And we saw that with Dragon Ball Z when they came out with the Kai version, right? Well, not they, when people came out with the Kai version.
Yeah.
Like it's just, if you're going to have that kind of setup, this would be so much better in a condensed way. It was so much more fun to watch the second time through. And because the other aspect to it, which is interesting, and it's, to me, it's unique with this show, is watching it the second time. Once all the powers have been explained, it's more fun to watch the fights, actually. because you're not sitting there just going, well, they pulled that out of the hat, they pulled this out of the hat, they pulled this out of a hat, and none of it actually makes sense.
Right.
Because it's been explained to you. Since there is no the overarching power dynamic or magic system in this is effectively there's different kinds of cursed energy, right? There's different kinds of domains, and that's it. Everything else is up for grabs. So every time you're fighting somebody new, it's random. It feels random. So when you watch it a second time and you know what they're capable of and you understand what their powers do within this magic system, it's more fun.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna rewatch it then.
Yep.
Vortex has another comment here. Had a problem with some of the deaths that were like filler too quickly take place after one another. So Nanami and then Nobara being killed, maybe. It was weird. Also, personally did not like the ghosting in the fight scene with Sukuna and Mahoranga. So
pretty apparent there.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Again, I hadn't really thought was I didn't realize they did this until this year, or I guess it was last year now. But yeah, some of that stuff was when they chose to do their dimming and ghosting was annoying for sure. And then with the deaths, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with. I would be okay with deaths. Like if Sukuna gets out and he kills like 3 people right there. Sometimes that feels realistic as opposed to like, oh, it was another fight and then here's another fight and we have to spend so much time in the fight. Like those amazing, shocking moments of people just being ended because they're facing this incredible power.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately the way that they did it, few of the deaths had the impact they were probably looking to achieve. What do you guys think?
I'll let JP and Phil take this.
Yeah,
Were you impacted by any of the deaths?
But
okay,
there was only one death I was impacted by, and that was the Cleaver guy.
Nanami,
yeah, Nanami.
Yeah,
and then the other chick, she's not really. She's like, oh, she had no pulse, but I stopped the bleeding.
Right. He said I'm not saying she'll survive, but it's not a 0% chance.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's like she's gonna survive, but maybe not.
So then you also had the 2 little girls that Geto had saved, right, from the village, from the very beginning, and they were following him around. They absolutely loved him. Those 2.
Yep.
Boom. In shocking ways.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
short of being brutal. Do you care?
I also think now that we know that Geto is like I think like gone. Like those 2 girls probably didn't need to be continuing in the show, like because they didn't really have a sort of purpose anymore. Not that they need to be murdered, but you know what I mean.
No, they still want to achieve his ends. There's still a group out there, not just them, but others as well that we encounter in the city for a moment that are trying to continue his legacy.
Yeah, fair.
There is that, and they've set it up that he's not 100% gone, right? Yeah. So I really think that this is Toji's whole purpose in this show, in this season, rather, is. I mean, he was a vehicle for a couple of different story points. One, right? He helped Gojo unlock his thing. Right. So Toji is the guy that I'm talking about, is the one with the heavenly blessing. He's got no cursed energy. He's just this absolute superhuman on all levels.
Mm-hmm.
So he killed Gojo. Don't care what you say. That's stupid. Anyways, he did it. Then he has this whole piece about the body being capable of overtaking a soul. Geto's whole situation here is that his body has been taken over, right? And can his soul persist? Because the brain thing doesn't think that there's a line in there. When Geto's hand starts trying to choke himself, there's a line there where he says something to Mojito about whether or not the soul can persist through the body, et cetera, right? Yep. I think that's Toji's whole point It's just that Ghetto is not totally gone.
Okay. Well, I mean, that'd be cool. Yeah.
I mean, Ghetto still
Still a bad
became
guy.
an absolute bad guy. Yeah.
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 It's not like we need him saved.
He's still in there.
He could be a character that could move towards a redemption story or something like
True.
that. That would
He
maybe
could.
be an
You know,
interesting thing.
back earlier in the season, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was hopeful that maybe this guy took him over before he killed anybody. Back when he was still like in school and friends with Gojo, but obviously that's not the case per those girls who followed him around. So
Yeah.
that was a little bit of a blow to me. Very sad.
Vortex is talking about how he thought the scene between Miwa and Mekamaru was actually more sad than a lot of the deaths. I totally agree with that. That was like that was a good sort of revelation, and again, things we didn't get to spend too much time with, but all of a sudden that these two. I mean, Mekamaru is a really sad figure. It would have been cool to spend more time with him as opposed to it kind of being in the background. But yeah,
Agreed.
no, I agree. That was definitely one of the sadder moments.
That was still in the pacing of the season before they had just gone full bore. We need to show all of these different random people fighting. That was when they were still doing storytelling. And I agree. I like that spot.
Yep.
And Vortex, it seems like he's with you, Phil. Despite all the things I have problems with, I love this season. Props to the animators.
And I just have this feeling, I don't know why, but just after seeing 2 full seasons, I have this feeling that season 3 is going to be really good. Because now they can start knitting together stuff from season 1 and 2, and how I think it's all going to really come together nicely. I just have a gut feeling.
I hope you're right.
The manga.
I hope you're right. Because the way they set it up, it sounds like it's going to be a gigantic battle, right?
Yeah, but I'm hoping that this season is the one where they're getting a lot of the major battles they need to get out of the way, and then I hope there'll be a little bit of a reset, like a little bit of that break we needed. Everyone kind of going back, licking their wounds, coming up with a new plan, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of fighting and battles and stuff in this next season. But I'm hopeful that we'll get a little bit of a reprieve, and then it'll like build to a really cool. End point in season 3. Really cool climax.
Yeah.
The word.
Yeah. I mean, well, it seems like the world is really getting shooken up here.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be the return to normal. It's like when Harry Potter, they can't go back to school anymore. It's that kind of thing where now we are, because Jujutsu Society is going to be against them, against our main heroes. Everybody's being divided in that way. So Vortex, thank you very much for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate that. Favorite, he says, my favorite person from the season seriously was Toji and Gojo. Gojo's usual motor that keeps the group going, and Toji was the one wrench in the engine to put a stop to it.
That's a great
this
point.
Guy could stop an unstoppable force, like, for example, seeing a person that can actually stop Saitama for once.
I like that.
Oh, yeah, I do too. I love when people, I don't know if you guys have seen these, but on YouTube, people will do like these little shorts like Gojo versus Saitama, or like these different unbeatable anime characters from different anime. I think those are fun. And I think it's interesting where, back in the, early 2000s, they do these shows like on, I think it was on like Spike TV or something, or it was just like, what would happen if a gladiator fought a pirate? And then they actually use to, I mean, it's all just like, it's whatever, but they're
it was cool. Yeah.
I thought that show went downhill when they started doing like, what if MI6 started fighting Al Qaeda? Okay, they have grenades, they have suicide bombers. These guys have guns.
Yeah,
line them up, and our simulation showed they killed. They just shot.
It is interesting, though.
But
you have these multiple people who are like unbeatable, and that's like, well, someone's got to win. Someone's got to be more powerful.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah. Go ahead.
Does Megumi? So season 3, right? So predictions, I guess. So Ghetto, the explanation for what he did was so strange to me. Even watching it the second time, I was like, all right, I guess. So he's making everybody sorcerers, it sounds like, effectively. So
Yeah.
there are now
Calling all
two
non-sorcerers.
types of sorcerers. Yeah, there's not these non-sorcerers that can do something, and he wants them to, I don't know. He wants to see what is more efficient, right? In the use of cursed energy. So he wants to optimize cursed energy. So I feel like that is going to be so much of season 3 is going to be this infighting between people now. And yeah, they don't have Jujutsu, Academy or whatever, or Jujutsu High School. But I feel like that's why we're not going to get a whole lot of break on this. The one thing that I'm hopeful for, Phil, is that we don't have to wait till the end of season 3 or season 4 to see Megumi like become this thing that they're setting up. Like when they showed that scene of Gojo telling him about that ancient fight that happened when there was a previous version of Gojo, essentially, versus somebody like Megumi.
Yep.
Right. And he brought out that 10th version, that 10th Shigigami. I want to see him dominate that thing, or whatever they call it, subjugate that thing.
Yep. Yeah, because they talk about how Gojo tells Megumi, like to your point, you're my equal, essentially, in terms of power.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Those are two kinds of magic.
Vortex says it was very interesting to see how the shift in power dynamic between Gojo, whether he's gone now, how it'll affect the world. Because remember, the entire Shibuya incident happened within a few hours or less, and that's to me been the whole exciting promise of the season. It's like getting rid of Gojo. What happens now? And so I just wish we would have got to that a little quicker or something. Because that's what I've been waiting to see. It's going to be chaos in the regular world and in the sorcerer world. It sounds like the government's going to tell the citizenry now about the existence of this whole other world. So that was thrown in there too, and see what happens with that. You can't operate in a clandestine manner anymore. So, anyone else? Things they're really excited for the next season? Something that hoping happens.
Jack for Rika. I felt like we didn't talk about that at all. Like the very end of it was just like, here he comes. And
that was cool.
I don't know why they had to jump to be like, oh, I must kill Yuji Ichidori. It's like,
it's because it's something to do with the guy with his arms.
Yeah. Well, it just felt like, there's a lot of other shit that, we just dropped 1,000 sorcerer bombs all over the place and the whole thing is going to shit. But hey, let's take out this guy first.
I think I kind of read it as he was like, they were alluding to him being like, look at this example, Inumaki as an example. Sukuna came out, like, Yuji couldn't keep him contained, and then he kills hundreds of people, and look at one of our sorcerers lost his arms, and like he's too dangerous to be allowed to like live because Sukuna, and so we just have to kill him. That's how kind of I read it. But
yeah.
It's kind of a by the book kind of character. Kind of rigid.
Let's see. Looking at other things Vortex has said here. He says he's read the manga, so he knows what's going to happen. And it's not going to spoil it. We appreciate that very much.
That is interesting, having somebody on the other side like, hey, listen to these dipshits.
They are wrong.
Oh, man, yeah.
Says also someone on Reddit pointed out how Megumi actually tried or wanted to summon Magoraga multiple times in season 1. For example, when Yuji first ate a finger in episode 2, season 1. Yeah, see, there are a number of things I do feel like would behoove me to go back.
Yeah.
Especially for sure the movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, right. It's
A full rewatch wouldn't be a bad idea, honestly. Mike, did you do a full rewatch or just season 2 rewatch?
Just season 2.
Okay, that's all. I mean, that's a lot of content to get through. Do a full rewatch.
Yeah, but I mean they're quick episodes, right?
Yeah.
When you skip the intro and outro. By the way, I really came to love the intro.
Yeah,
it's great. I
It
love
is.
it.
oh, I love it. I have a anime songs playlist, so
Nice.
very dorky, but yeah, it's
Nice.
on there. It's on there.
Great music on there. JP, anything? So more Rika. Or is there any stone left unturned here? We want to get into Vortex. Let us know like what you're. I mean, again, yeah, you know what's coming, but let us know Vortex too. Like, did you like the direction of like the new director behind this season, and did you like the shift in pace at the beginning and stuff like that? He says, I will say nothing if you guys are right or wrong. Just fun listening to you guys. Well, appreciate it. Let's see. My only hope for season 3 is to give the animators a good break. Yeah, that would be, that's very kind of you. And I agree. I just take your time.
Yeah.
This show it's a big show. People will come back for it.
Yes.
Mappa has enough on their plate.
Yep.
There's enough shows coming for them. You don't need to rush season 3.
No.
For the love of everything, just have most of the season done before you start airing it. I don't know why that's another 6 month delay, so it can basically be done before you start putting on television.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
Yeah, we can wait. Other shows take years in between seasons. Like, I'm not saying I want there to be years in between, but authors take years in between books in a series. Like, it's just how it is. People come back for it if it's quality content. To your point, John.
Yep. Okay. Well, if that's it, then I appreciate all you like watching along with me and getting seeing whatever what you think from week to week. Vortex says, yes, you know what? Yes, I liked it. There's such an interesting shift in the direction, but here is a small thing I really dislike from this season. In season 1, there was often a nice little after ending scene. And yeah, I'm going to say one more thing. So I don't remember do you remember, guys, what that was about? Like at the end, I know a lot of shows at the end credits afterwards, Demon Slayer does it too, or whatever, they have a little like more cartoony animation, often explaining a little bit of something.
I remember that being a thing in this show.
Yeah, but this season, season 2, they did it, but it was like it's a very scratchy animation style, and it was really hard for me to glean any information from it. I was just like, it was hard to understand them. It's hard to see what was happening because the animation was so chaotic, and I don't think it added much to. Like, it didn't give me anything, which those little end scenes usually are. Yeah. So,
I thought of my wish for season 3. I hope that we can find a place where we don't have to explain new rules and premises so frequently. Yeah. Like that we can settle into understanding the rules of the world. I just, at some point, at season 3, let's go. Let's get that.
If you want that to happen, they need to stop introducing the creative new styles, but I think that's the bread and butter of this show. I'm not a fan of it, but I think that's their intent, right? Is there's not a lot of overlap, right? They treat it like there is. Like, they talk about Shigigami users versus curse technique or versus curse manipulation, and then this blood technique, right? And they talk about how Yuji doesn't have his own, but then you've got a woman who does crows, right? Like, there's there seems like there is an overarching number of types of curse techniques, but they don't seem to be interested in getting to that final number where we would actually see repeats. So I don't know. I don't know if you'll get that. but I would love that too.
I agree. I actually did think of something. My hope for season 3, which I have two things: very confident on the one and less confident on the other. But I want to know what Yuji's like cursed, like his special his special technique. I believe he did it at the very end of the episode of season, the last episode of season 2. So I'm sure that's how the season will start out, and we'll find that out. So I'm certain we'll find that out. I also would love for someone, probably Nanami's apprentice, or I don't know, I don't care who it is. I want someone to find his wrapped cleaver and like start using that. So maybe like, what's the chick who uses the cursed spirit weapons that you really like, John?
Oh, Maki? Yeah.
Maki. Maybe Maki's like, oh, Nanami's awesome cleaver. I'm going to start using this. I want to see that cleaver unwrapped. I need to see it unwrapped.
Okay.
So season 3, get on it, Mappa.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
Couple more from Vortex. Favorite episode is not actually the Sukuna versus Mahoraga fight, but personally, I love this scene with Yuji's female friend from school. I'm thinking you mean Nobara. It reminded me of a silent voice. No. Remember, there was the episode where Nobara met the taller girl.
Oh yeah,
Yuji's.
When they were in the diner, and they're like, "Oh, it's like that." It's like that. That's
yes. She had a big crush on him.
Yeah, that was a great episode. That was a great episode.
Yep. That was
and it was funny. That one was. There was some earlier on in the season in some of the flashback episodes. Maybe not so much flashback episodes, but there's some very funny parts. There's a scene where Yuji like drop kicks a little teeny cursed spirit. I mean, there's some goofy, funny stuff thrown in once in a while, but then they get away from it completely for a while. But that whole episode was great.
And then he did really like that fight still, and reminded him of Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah,
which
Mob Psycho
totally.
100.
That was the sad thing to me about that fight was I really liked that one. And I thought it was so cool. I put it on the thumbnail, I think. It's like, Magoraga is like, or however you say his name, Volcano Guy, is like his hands are like crawling up his face because he's so frustrated. He just can't land a blow. I loved that fight, and I thought it was great to see, Sukuna's power on display. I was into that. The mistake was having him do another large scale battle immediately afterwards.
Yeah,
it didn't add any sort of, all of a sudden these are becoming meaningless now versus like a demonstration of Sukuna's power to like, we're just wasting time destroying more Shibuya. We didn't need to see Megumi's special thing right now.
Right.
We can save that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Interesting. Okay, I'll read this thing. Is it spoilery?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay. All right, I won't do it. All right.
An article you saw? Or something?
I appreciate the comment, Vortex. Like, but just for some people that maybe are on the fence about something.
Okay.
But yeah, for season 3, yeah. No, it's all right.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We're all excited too. Honestly, I would love for you to just type out everything that would happen. I love spoilers, and I still enjoy the shows, even though I know what's going to happen.
Sure.
Then I like to see the exexecution of it.
Yeah.
So that's me. PM.
You can go into while we're at it, if Vortex would like to do that, maybe
you could also just read the manga.
No, that's hard. That's reading.
It's mostly pictures still.
That's true.
There are a lot of pictures.
No, so
I do find it hard to read backwards into what panel am I supposed to go to next?
You'll get used to it. It's very easy.
I just need to
it doesn't take long.
No, that's true.
So what should happen, if you want that to be the case, is Vortex, you can go over to Mike's YouTube and just pick any racing video And just underneath in the comments, you can just say whatever you want about spoilers so he can read them.
Put each spoiler in a different video so that I have to like piece them together and figure out the order of them. That would be great.
What about the Venn diagram of the fans that are fans of Mike's racing and Jujutsu Kaisen fans? What about those?
We get
spoilers.
It'll just be
we
me.
need to make that overlap bigger.
It's just me.
So yeah, Mike, why don't you
Awesome.
tell
Thanks,
people
Mark.
about your YouTube and your socials and stuff?
Yeah, social media is primarily it's Instagram, Track Mouse on Instagram. It's basically all about my little journey here in turning this Miata into a full-fledged race car and going from high performance track days, which is what you're watching right here, to actually competing on a national scale with an organization called Grid Life, which has been a lot of fun. And we've had some recent success and making a big push for 2024 here. And then the YouTube channel is basically all this in-car video. And it started because I just wanted to have a centralized place where I could review my in-car dash and make improvements and learn from it. Might morph it a little bit, still include that heavily, but might do some more, sharing of experiences of the track and what Grid Life is like and that sort of thing as a whole. So, yeah.
That track could have used a resurface, I think. That looked awful bumpy for a racetrack.
It's a great layout and it's an absolute shit track.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did I say?
They've been talking about resurfacing it for 2 or 3 years. So this is actually out at Dakota County. It's a technical college. They use it for all sorts of things, from police training to Sports Car Club of America, which is what we're doing here. Does track nights. So
sweet. Oh, John, did you want to mention? And we can talk about it a different day, but we should mention that we've seen some murmurings about Doro Hedoro season 2 coming potentially. That's the
yeah. So. And talking about things coming up on the channel and whatnot, just bring up that Vortex said he's really just wants there to be a One Punch Man season 3.
Yes.
So something he's wanting to happen and looking forward to.
Yes.
That would be great. I know a lot of people will be looking forward to that. You mentioned Dodo Hey Dodo. That's also a good call there. I didn't think they'd be making a season 2, and so that we all of a sudden are getting that. Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. Let's see. So Vortex is just. I'm trying to see if I can copy this probably here. Actually, he's asking about your channel, cool. Mike. Here, I can send the. I think it'll let me post in links. So.
Oh, thanks.
Here's the YouTube link for anyone. Let's see. Oh, is that yours there, Mike? You put it in the private chat? Okay. All right.
I can't comment in the I don't know, for whatever reason.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so. Probably not.
Mm.
Yep. Okay, so everybody make sure to follow Mike. We're on this channel. Yeah, we're going to be talking. I know I'm going to be watching Delicious in Dungeons, so we'll get into that sometime. Mike, speaking of racing, we are going to be talking Overtake soon. Tony and I both only have a couple episodes left, so we'll get into that. Probably have an episode just for that soon.
I'll try to catch up so I can join that one, but I can't promise because I'm just watching so much right now.
Yep,
I get it.
It's fine.
No problem. But I'm not any farther than I was, but I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in, I think.
Okay. Well, there's it's not a long season, so.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, then I can try to pour through.
Yep. And we got other things we can maybe end up talking about, whether it's, if we keep going on Mashal, maybe we do like a whole big season 1 thing being season 2's going now. JP, you'd mentioned, Zom 100, so we got that I can do, and so lots of stuff coming up. I don't know. We'll have to get feedback from everyone, see what everybody thinks. Might not be doing, at least for a while anyways, anything that's covering 2 episodes a week or every other week sort of thing. Maybe we'll try our hand at just covering larger chunks, seasons, movies, and stuff like that. So
I think Demon Slayer I think the new season of Demon Slayer comes out this spring.
Really?
I think
And there's a
Ooh.
movie coming out. A movie coming out in like February or something like that.
Alert.
Ooh, Demon Slayer movie? Did you say?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like the
Oh.
first episode of the new season, and then
Oh,
the
sure.
end of that kind of thing again.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. So then I think it actually airs in like March or April.
Sick. I'm excited.
So, but I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a pretty short season because I've heard that the arc in the manga is really short. It's like not only. I think John, you said that it's not that many chapters, and so it might be. We could just do. I've heard Ranking of Kings is really good. Maybe we could just do like one episode for that season because it's like a very small one.
Okay.
For 2 episodes, split it up into 2 episodes.
Vortex suggests Ranking of Kings and Kisnaver. Ranking of Kings, I've always thought it doesn't look interesting to me at all, but I've heard over and over and over again that it's great. It's emotional, well done, whatever. So sometime. And then Kisnaver, he's saying it's by Studio Trigger, and I've liked everything by Studio Trigger, except for before they were that, which was Panty and Stocking and Garter Belts or whatever. I never got into that, but that was a long time ago. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yep.
Yeah, we appreciate you jumping in the chat. Appreciate you to follow very much. Next week we'll be back with a regular Popcast on the Rocks. So we'll be covering some other pop culture sort of things. Make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe in all the applicable places. We're getting used to this multiple streaming in different places. MJ Honeybee is our friend on Twitch. She streams Dead by Daylight 3 times a week, so make sure you give her a look-see. Killing the Flower wrote our main theme song for the regular show, so we appreciate you if you took a look at their stuff on music streaming services. And otherwise, that'll about do it from us. I appreciate you guys jumping on, all were able to make it for this final talk of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. And
awesome.
We'll see you all next time.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
Love you guys. Now hang up.
See you guys.
Okay, bye-bye.